What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about how healthy are Canadians. Now, this is an extremely relevant topic, especially to an American such as myself and to other Americans, because the topic of health, I assume the rest of the world is quite aware, but America is pretty much seen and is the de facto leader in bad health habits. Especially as far as developed nations go, America is extremely unhealthy. The statistics are all there. I think, honestly, it mostly has to do with the invention and advent and propagation of processed sugary foods that are so widely available. Food in general is just so widely available now in this day and age, which is a fantastic thing. It's great. It helps a lot of people. But on the other hand, it's also gotten to the point in a lot of people's lives where processed foods and eating habits and which lead to heart disease and obesity, all these things are just getting out of control in America and have been for a long time. So I'm quite curious if any of this is relevant or extends into Canada. I don't really know the average health of a Canadian. When you Google this, honestly, what you find, I pulled this article earlier. The unhealthiest country in the world is the United States. High obesity rates, heart disease, diabetes. Heart disease is the number one thing that kills people in America every year. It's horrible. Of course, there's still smoking, trans fat, saturated. Don't get me started on all the fats. We'll be here forever. But a lot of this is very sort of based on recent, technology in a way. All this stuff is just available for a low cost. Anyway, you could go on and on with all this stuff and why it happens, but it's a very real thing. So I thought it'd be interesting to compare with Canada, which I really have no idea what Canadians think about all this and their views on health and the average Canadian and how that all goes. So I'm hoping this video gives me a much better idea of maybe how that all is happening and how we compare the US and Canada. Should be quite interesting, right? So let's take a look.
The idea is to get a snapshot.
Do you have anything else? Any other teas or coffees or snacks during the day?
Nope, I had a toasted bagel with cream cheese.
A snapshot of what Lisa and Kev eat or don't eat.
Kev, what'd you have?
Oh, okay. So this is clearly a news report, and they went into a family's home, a Canadian family's home, and they're kind of cataloging everything that this kind of average family eats. That's interesting. It actually helped me get a sense for the average Canadian family as far as eating goes.
For breakfast today.
I had coffee.
How many?
3.
And
Three cups of coffee, dang.
what Meg and Josh nosh on.
That's not necessarily that bad for you. It'll just kind of make you bounce off the wall, unless you're kind of used to it. Anyway.
Can of pop and some cereal.
I had 2 Oreos.
2 Oreos?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you have to drink?
Chocolate milk.
After it's all
So far this doesn't sound too bad. If I have my problem is if I have some Oreos, I gotta have the whole box. That's my problem. That's probably a lot of people's problem is there's none of this, I'm gonna have 2 Oreos stuff. No, get out of here with that. But as this family just sounds pretty average, like they just enjoy regular stuff, and are pretty careful about their portions and all that.
logged in, our expert will weigh in. And this family will never look at what they eat the same way again.
Oh,
So what do you think
geez.
of this whole exercise?
It's eye-opening. As you go through the day, you don't really keep track of what's going in.
Mm-hmm.
You realize just how much you're putting in and what it is that you're putting in.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing, isn't it? Back in the day, people probably lived their day around 2 or 3 meals a day, big meals a day. But now, with the creation of all these darn delicious snacks, All these beautiful, delicious snacks that you just can get for so cheap and unlimited. You can just find yourself eating them all day. And even if you don't eat a lot of the unhealthy foods, they are so much worse for you than you even realize when you're eating them, because it doesn't kill you quickly. It'll kill you very slowly. That's kind of the sad, real problem here. Is over the course of years and years and buildup of stuff in your blood vessels and cholesterol and all that. That's what's bad for you. But it takes time. And yeah, it's actually quite kind of scary when you think about it. But that's the thing. People need to think about it. You know, it's tough.
It is hard to track every morsel when life moves so fast. The kids nibble on snacks from school. Lisa has a long commute to work, and Tim Hortons is on the way.
Tim Hortons! That's funny to an American. That probably sounds like, like, why am I laughing? To a Canadian's like, what is wrong with this guy? I'm sorry, but I learned about the existence of Tim Hortons pretty recently and how popular they are. So now every time I hear Tim Hortons, it just like reinforces my perception that like, oh, they're everywhere in Canada. I've heard about this. And then so in this random video when Tim Hortons was brought up, I was like, okay, I guess I do know about Canada. They said they love Tim Hortons, and it's apparently true.
And while Kev, he doesn't have to reach far for his favorites. The kitchen is just steps away from his home office.
Well, hot dogs are a brutal one. You put the hot dogs in the bun, you put it in the microwave for 1 minute and 40 seconds, they're perfectly done, put some ketchup on it, and you're like 3 minutes and you're off to the races.
You've got this down to science.
Unfortunately, yes.
So hot dogs aside, how healthy or unhealthy are our family's food choices? We asked Dr. Yanni Friedhoff, family doctor turned weight loss guru, for help.
You know, before the weight loss family doctor guru speaks, I will note that this is primarily talking just about diet and eating habits. And as far as the health of Canadians goes, I feel like we'd have to factor in, you know, if Canadians are as outdoorsy as Americans think. Americans pretty much believe Canadians are super outdoorsmen, which I know many are, and are like active, have active lifestyles, which would greatly benefit your health. So this is just kind of focusing on the food diet aspect, which is interesting. So far, it's been quite comparable to America. So I'll just let it keep going and see what we learn.
Friedhoff has online access to our family's food diary.
On average, in studies that have been done, people underestimate using a food diary by about 20%. If you add 20% of calories to each of these folks' calories for the week, they would in fact be consuming close to a meal more calories per day.
In fact, studies show in the last 30 years.
So was he saying what people think they're eating as far as caloric intake, they're typically wrong and grossly underestimate what they're eating? People are eating much more than they think. I'm sure that's absolutely true in America. Maybe exacerbated. One of those words.
Canadians are consuming an entire extra meal a day in calories. A whopping 65% of us are overweight or obese.
It is an
Oh yeah, I mean, that stat sounds quite similar to America. I know it all depends on the scientific definition of obese, which can be kind of hairy. It's based on your height, or it doesn't quite calculate if how much of it is muscle mass and stuff like that. But these same kind of issues sounds just like the things Americans deal with.
hour of vigorous activity that would burn.
Us are overweight or obese.
It is an hour of vigorous activity that would burn sort of a meal's worth of calories. I think calories matter much more. The ones that we're consuming have a much greater impact on our weights than the calories we are or aren't burning.
That seems like a pretty high sodium count there.
So this doctor is saying what we eat is of much greater consequence to our health than going for a jog or a hike or a run and trying to burn some of that off. You're better off focusing on just the diet aspect.
They have to put the taste somewhere, I guess.
But how calorie-wise are we? Most of us? don't have a clue. Do you know how many calories you consume a day?
No, I don't.
Do you know how many calories are in the stuff that you've bought today?
No clue.
I think this is absolutely 100% the same as America. You could ask the same questions to Americans. They'd say they have no idea how many calories are in stuff. Or worse, they'd probably be like, oh, I know, and guess and be totally wrong and just hope that the giant chocolate chip muffin that they bought is like 20 calories or something because it's whole grain or something, you know? That's how I rationalize all the muffins I eat. I know that.
And these people know even less about what's in them. How about salt?
Nah, no idea at all.
Sugar?
No idea at all.
Do you have any idea how much salt you're supposed to consume or how much sugar?
I don't. See, I'm your typical Canadian, I guess. I don't.
I like that he's like, I'm just your typical Canadian. I don't know. And it's like, that's totally the typical American. I mean, I sure don't know anything about, gosh, the proper amount of sugar and stuff I should eat every day. And I certainly don't look at the packaging and calculate it or anything like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
The main culprit? Anything that comes in a packet. Our family's traditional Taco Tuesdays meal is loaded in salt. It's also becoming clearer they're eating a whole lot of sugar too.
You know, just based on what they said there about if it's in a packet reminds me of the fact that I think what a problem is for Americans is 90% of the stuff we buy is packaged, processed, created in an assembly line a month ago food that you stick in a microwave and heat up and it comes back to life again, for lack of a better way to say it, and you can eat it. Very little is in the way of fresh, like, whole foods that are, like, healthy for you. And an emphasis on, like, you know, fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. There's certainly people out there in America who certainly focus on that. But by and large, it's very much we are a nation of packaged processed food because it's convenient. That's the thing. That's kind of the sweeping problem here is it's just so darn convenient and tasty. It's so tasty.
This was a day that Meg had. It was the first day she was recording, and she wrote down all the things that she was eating. And she was very accurate. She even counted how many Smarties she had.
56.
That's right.
Friedhoff gives us a sneak peek at his calculations.
So if we look at her sugar numbers, she had 219 grams, of sugar. That's 54.75 teaspoons. In cups, it's 1.14 cups of sugar just on one day.
One cup, like, think about eating a cup. Like, visualize a cup of sugar, like a block. And it's so easy to just consume that every day. This video is kind of scaring me. This video was supposed to be me learning about Canadian health, and it's only just making me think about American health and my health. But it's good. It's good to think about these things.
So where does all that come from? Well, it's lurking in sugary cereals, juices, and drinks that sound healthy. Remember Meg's sweet tooth?
What did you have to drink?
Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk?
You know, people believe that chocolate milk is a very healthy beverage, but yet
Yeah.
chocolate milk has double the calories, double the sugar of Coca-Cola drop per drop.
What? No. These are the types of things, man. So many foods are just like what he's saying, where they're so much worse for you. They're so much worse than you think they are, that you finally learn, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even make the change. It would be changing my whole life to start worrying about all this, but it's so important. So.
And so if I took a can of Coca-Cola, I made a double strong can of Coca-Cola, double the sugar, double the calories, and I poured a few vitamins and minerals and some protein in it, I don't think people would want to give it to their kids every single day as a beverage.
Yeah.
Friedhoff needs more time to tally up the totals. As for Kev, he's starting to sweat.
Oh, he's going for the lettuce now. That's good. He's starting to learn. Went straight for the lettuce.
Sam, please.
He's rebuying everything the family ate during the 1-week experiment. and that's
Okay.
making him nervous. Friedhof is coming over tonight to tell the family what all those Smarties, hot dogs, and tacos add up to.
Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, I'd be scared too if a health doctor nutritionist was coming to my house that night ready to pass down judgment upon my meals. Oh my.
Come on, right in. It's not
Oh
scary.
boy.
It's about to get scary. Once the family finds out, they consume about 9 pounds of sugar in a single week.
A week? Okay, I thought he was about to say a day. It's like, I was gonna be like, forget it, we're doomed. All right, in a week.
Only a little bit. Okay, a lot.
I don't even,
Oh my.
I don't even want to look.
Good.
So,
Oh my gosh.
so this is 17 cups of sugar. It's roughly 9 pounds of sugar. And there are
Ah!
some days, Meg, that you had one day where you had almost half of your day's calories come from sugar.
That's more than double the amount they should be consuming. And believe it or not, that
I feel like this is one of the biggest issues, and it sounds like what I'm gaining from this video is Canada is in a really similar situation as far as food and health goes and processed food as America. It's in a very similar position as the United States. I just think that it's greatly amplified by Americans, as they are probably even much less health conscious and indulgent than many other nations, you know?
that's about
I
average.
feel like I need to burn the dino eggs and, and just get rid of all of that sugary cereal and
always
just
the
change
dino
things,
eggs.
you know? So
What's
And
this?
that's not all. What you see here shows how much sodium our family is taking in just 1 week.
What is they're stuffing their car full of chips to make a point? I was thinking like is this like their daily stockpile of chips? This is like a day's worth of chips in America for a family. No. It's to prove a point about sodium, I think.
We could barely get all these potato chips in our van.
Yeah.
Kev, Lisa, and the kids are about to get a sodium shocker.
So, if we were to take the amount of sodium you guys eat and convert it into equivalents of club-sized packs of Ruffles, you guys eat the sodium equivalent of 40 club-sized packs of Ruffles per week.
Again,
I think part of the problem is most people, sounds like Canadians as well, don't even really know, like, why you shouldn't eat a lot of sodium or sugar or whatnot. And obviously there's some points like it's bad for your cholesterol, and still people are like, what does that mean? So there's just some things about knowledge and information fundamentally that is part of the problem, that people in America aren't educated on this enough, don't worry about it enough because they just don't know.
that's more than double the sodium they should be eating. And get this, that's pretty typical too.
It was
Wow.
just really surprising to me, shocking.
Yeah.
So you ready to throw out the cereals?
Yes.
This poor kid. I mean, there's another thing to this as well. Like, as far as children go, it's all about moderation and control, right? You can have a bowl of cereal every now and then, maybe just not every day. Like, there's no need to go to the extreme and eliminate any semblance of happiness from your life. But being aware of all this is important, and then once you're aware, you can kind of be in control, and control when and what you eat, and what you personally think is appropriate. So that's a huge aspect as well.
So why does all this matter? Friedhof says it's bad for everybody's health, but it's particularly bad for the kids.
The building blocks of these kids are what they eat. And not only in terms of their building blocks for their actual bones and muscles and joints, but their building blocks in terms of what they're going to be feeding their families, what they're going to be eating for a lifetime
Yeah.
if they don't make changes.
Yeah.
Their diet may impact on their health in the long run.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Man, I feel like Americans just wouldn't be very receptive to this as a culture, because we've heard this all before at least once, but it didn't stop America from becoming super unhealthy as time has gone on. Yeah, it is definitely something where if you start it when you're young, it's probably going to continue on for the rest of your life. I'm certainly familiar with that idea.
There needs to be some major changes, I think, for any family to walk in and see this visual or see the sugar presented in front of you. You can't help but think, okay, there are going to be some changes.
Yeah.
It's a lot to digest, but it's probably fair to say Taco Tuesdays will never be the same again.
No! Oh, not Taco Tuesday. Yeah, there's a scenario here where a family teaches their children to enjoy, healthier foods when they're young, and just not get them started on a track of all these horrible things for you. And then the kids can learn to enjoy it, and going on later into their adult life, they'll keep doing it because they're like, oh, I love these I love these Brussels sprouts with low-fat ranch dressing. Yeah, this is great.
Too much food and not enough exercise are not the only problems affecting the health of Canadians.
Oh?
So is a lack of sleep. A recent CBC poll showed that most Canadians are getting less than 8 hours a night, and that can cause all kinds of problems, from high blood pressure to diabetes.
Wow, lack of sleep. Interesting. I'm glad we're starting to touch on some other aspects of health. I don't want this to all just be about food. There's many other things that are extremely important as far as health goes. Sleep is actually one that I don't really think about that much. But as he's saying here, it can affect your blood pressure even. Man, I know it's so different for people though. Some people can get by with 6 hours of sleep. Some need 8 plus. It's quite different. Interesting though.
The CBC's Kelly Crow takes a closer look at what's keeping so many of us awake.
Oh, okay.
And the sun goes down and I'm terrified. You better watch where you put your head. You gotta get it when the getting's right.
Okay.
You gotta get it.
You gotta get sleep.
Every time I sleep, I toss and I turn the sun.
Not easy for musician Luc Doucette.
I've been carrying this.
I was going to say, how are we going to connect this guy's song about sleep to the rest of this? It's like, okay, we're going to talk about him and his sleep problems. I get it. Okay. It's keeping me entertained, if nothing else.
This insomnia around with me for 25 years.
Insomnia. Oh my gosh, insomnia. I've never experienced that, but sounds horrible.
For musician Luc Doucette.
I've been carrying this insomnia around with me for 25 years.
He's not the only one. The CBC poll showed that 6 out of 10 Canadians get less than 8 hours sleep, and well over half of us are walking around tired.
Well, I feel like a lot of that in America is because people, they get home from work and they don't want to just go to bed, and you have so many forms of entertainment now, as far as like streaming, video games, and all sorts of stuff you can watch on your phone, that you just want to do that and not go to sleep, and that'll start the next day, and you'll have to go back to work, and it never ends. So I think that's a huge reason why Americans don't like to go to sleep, and they're sleep deprived on average, just like Canadians, sounds like.
It's nice to know that this is not just me, that I'm not crazy.
What's the cause? In the poll, more than a third said they don't have enough time to sleep as much as they'd like.
Yeah.
The experts blame it on our wired world.
We blame it on the artificial light, which allows us to do a lot of things, such as watch television, or play on the computer, or even do more work.
Oh, she's blaming just the fact that we can... It's not like the old days where, oh, it's dark. I got nothing to do now because I can't see. Might as well go to bed. that is certainly long gone, that problem, yeah.
Longer work, more intense work.
But sleep experts say we're hurting ourselves.
It still does affect our performance, our ability to pay attention, our ability to remember things, our response to stress.
I can't be as sharp as I want to be, or I can't
I'm not as kind as I think, or as patient as I should be. I mean, I think I've taken my insomnia out on a number of Air Canada / WestJet employees. And I apologize.
I like his honesty here. I like that.
For Luc Doucette, it's been years of searching for the secret to a good night's sleep. He hasn't had caffeine for 15 years, and lately he's taken up marathon running.
Oh.
I noticed improvements in my sleep patterns immediately.
Oh my God, that's so smart. That's so smart. And he's getting more healthy because of all the horrible food we're eating, apparently. Just run your butt off, and then you're going to want to go to sleep. That's actually really smart.
Yeah, really significant. I mean, you exhaust yourself when you run 50 or 60 or 70 kilometers a week.
Yeah.
Earplugs, face mask, noise-canceling headphones.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But even that doesn't guarantee a good night's sleep.
He goes all out.
Research shows people who sleep less eat more fatty foods.
We tend to crave more caloric foods, different type of foods, and more food when we are sleep deprived.
Oh, that's interesting. The problems compound on themselves. When you're sleep deprived, you want more bad food for you. Wow, it's like a never-ending cycle.
And beauty sleep is no longer a myth. It's been scientifically proven. A study asked observers to rate the attractiveness of the sleep deprived. The result, the sleep deprived were rated as looking less healthy and less attractive.
Well, yeah, I would... It's probably just because it doesn't look like your eyeballs are sunken into the back of your head because you haven't slept more than an hour. That'd probably make you look a little less attractive than someone who's had a fresh 8 hours of sleep and just looks ready to go and all that.
I think sleep...
Funny that they did a study on it. That's actually pretty interesting.
Sleep is often perceived as being lazy, where to me it is just looking after yourself. Just like exercising and eating well.
The sun goes down and I'm all right. You better watch where you put your head.
Now I'm starting to think he wrote this song during the sleepless nights to stay sane. At least he got to write a cool song out of having no sleep.
You gotta get it when the getting's right. You gotta get it.
You gotta get sleep. The experts insist your health depends on it.
Your full head down.
Kelly Crow, CBC News, Hamilton.
Eat well, exercise, get enough sleep, live a healthier and longer life.
Oh yeah, it's just that easy. It's just so easy. Sure.
And that is News in Review. Don't forget to check out our website at newsinreview.cbclearning.ca. I'm Michael Serapio. Thanks for watching.
Okay. I think that's it. I actually really enjoyed that. That was by Anderson Socials, or at least by this news agency. Anyway, I liked that. I give it the first like. Wow, there you go. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. I mean, the thing that stuck out to me the most is how similar the problem is in Canada and the United States. It's very similar. It's basically the same problem. I just think it's amplified in America more so. I see it all. I see a lot of unhealthy people, myself included, all the time, everywhere. And people are like open to talk about it, but and we're aware of it, but it doesn't seem like anybody really makes it a priority, honestly, as much as we acknowledge it. There's some kind of missing step there where, because it, like I said, it happens so slowly. You're dying so slowly from these things that are bad for your body that you don't change anything that day. And then a day becomes a week and a year and you haven't changed at all. And yeah, it's tough. It's a very tough issue. But I feel like this is an issue that affects all developed nations around the world. It's just a matter of, are you number one in unhealthy habits like the United States, or are you number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? They're all, it's all not good, and it's all something everyone can improve on. But I was still quite interested to learn that. I wasn't for sure. I didn't for sure know what life was like outside the United States, and now I know this is a problem that's facing the entire, the entire world that it has access to processed foods and sleepless nights and all of that stuff. It's quite interesting. Very interesting. So I do feel like I'm very happy I watched this. I think my perspective on it all has grown and I understand a bit more. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video as well. And if you did, feel free to leave a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada, Canadian culture, things in Canada that I've never seen ever, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.